You're listening to the Adventurous Meathead Podcast. When you're done listening through this country bumpkin intro and the entirety of this podcast, go outside and have an adventure. All right, we're recording.
All right.
And I just cleared my throat, so that's good for the audio.
You've done that a couple times so far. Are you getting ill?
No.
Okay.
I just housed some spaghetti. And it's it's not all the way down.
Gotcha.
It was a huge container of spaghetti. So,
yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Adventurous Meathead Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Woodby of Grizzly Performance. The purpose of this podcast is to bring together enthusiasts and experts from both the fitness and the outdoor/adventure world. Kind of bring you a mashup of both worlds, trying to bring you some informative content, some exciting content, hopefully some hilarious stuff, stuff you can feel entertained with, but walk away with some new perspective. So my guest today is Adam Richmond. Adam is an athletic trainer at Dickinson College, an all-around super smart dude. And Adam likes to snowboard. So I had him on. We're going to talk about snowboarding, some nerdy stuff, but we're going to try to keep it, what's the word? In layman's terms. Yeah. Because Adam's a pretty smart guy. So, yeah.
I'm glad you say that. I don't think I'm never the smartest guy in the room. I'm not. I work hard.
Well, sure. I mean, you often are the smartest guy in the room, but I know what you're trying to get at with that statement.
I'm not gonna wow you with my IQ, but I work hard and I read a lot. So
yeah, that's fair.
I've accumulated a lot of knowledge.
I agree.
Only in one area, in very few areas as well. Not like worldly, as you know from a lot of my vocabulary words and just fun facts.
Yeah.
But if it's health related, science, biology, physiology, anatomy, I'm your guy.
You can trust Adam. Absolutely.
Outside of that,
maybe not.
Maybe not.
Sipping my coffee here. It's good stuff today. It's Members Mark, the giant can.
Okay. Is that a name brand or
Sam's Club?
That? Okay.
Sam's Club.
Bulk. You bought it in bulk.
Yeah.
That's all you had to say.
But it's really good.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Is there anything in the coffee today or did you go?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
That giant bottle of Jack Daniels that I bought last weekend. And there's a little bit of that in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So just straight up whiskey though. Nothing to
Yeah. Just straight up.
Or anything. Yeah.
I didn't waste any money on Bailey's.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like, we talked about this last weekend, but I don't love the flavor of whiskey. So whenever I mix it with my coffee, I need something to hide it a little bit. So
sure. Yeah. I'm just straight up.
Yeah. I thought about adding a little bit too, to mine as well, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So you can keep me on the rails then if I go off the rails.
That'll be the plan.
One of us has to be dialed in. So Adam and I go back a little ways. I interned under Adam at Dickinson College. We had a great time. Adam taught me a whole lot of things, and he has since continued just growing his depth of nerd knowledge. So, Adam, talk about who you are, what you like to do, what you do for your career. Kind of describe your what happens on a day-to-day basis, and then some of your outdoor passions.
Yeah, sure. So we can start all the way back at the beginning to give you a little preface of why I am who I am. But grew up in a really small town called McAllisterville, Pennsylvania. It's central PA, middle of nowhere. So if you think about Philadelphia and you think about Pittsburgh, whenever you think of Pennsylvania, think somewhere in the middle there, which is just nowhere. So that's where I'm from. Grew up loving the outdoors, played a lot of sports, soccer and wrestling, but also was really passionate about just being outdoors, did a lot of hunting and fishing. I was talking a little bit off air there. I started skiing probably the very first time I was skiing. I want to say I was 13 or 14, maybe 15. I don't remember, but it was before I could drive. That's for sure. I remember my mom took us We went to Tussey Mountain, which shout out to State College, Pennsylvania, home of the Nittany Lion Ski Club. I think they're still there. They used to be anyway. I don't know. I didn't go there, but yeah, super small little hill. Started skiing there. When I got to college, started snowboarding my freshman year. Tried to make the transition from skiing to snowboarding because I was watching all these guys like snowboarding. It just looked amazing. You know, just kind of surfing down the mountain, enjoying like big turns, lots of cool tricks. It just seemed like something that I wanted to do, and so I made the transition. It was super hard for me. Busted my ass a lot, like fell, like wrist, butt, like just would catch edges, like just never got the gist of it until the very end of the first season. Finally linked up a couple turns, got the feel of the heel side, toe side, making the transition. And after that, it was just like everything just clicked and fell in love with it and never turned back. So I haven't put on a pair of skis since then. So yeah, I absolutely love being in the outdoors. Hunting, fishing, and snowboarding would probably be the big three passions. As for a career, I went to Lock Haven University. That's where I made that transition to snowboarding. Have a bachelor's in health science with a concentration on athletic training, and then went to East Stroudsburg for graduate school. So I have a master's in advanced athletic training techniques. From there, I went to Dickinson College. So as soon as I graduated, I got a job at Dickinson College, and that's where I'm at today. So primarily throughout the years, I've worked with football and men's lacrosse, and then recently I've made the transition away from football and started helping out with field hockey. As I'm there, I want to, you know, I don't have the traditional role as an athletic trainer. Yes, I tape ankles and do sports rehab, but I also have a large hand in the strength conditioning part of the teams that I work with. So I do all their off-season training, write their programming. When they're on campus, we do a lot of speed work and on the field coaching of speed technique and the change of direction and those types of training aspects. So huge into that. And then I recently started an online training business, so Richmond Training Systems. You know, my original thought there with the Richmond Training System was to kind of focus on men's health, and I still think I do. But you know, I'm open to working with anybody and just enjoy helping people find a passion for fitness and for being healthy and just kind of building resiliency. And you know, my passion is being outdoors and snowboarding and playing with my son and playing sports. So whatever I can do to increase the longevity of that and be able to continue to enjoy the outdoors and be active and you know, hit the mountains, I'm going to be doing that. So you know, if that's fitness, if that's nutrition, if that's recovery, sleep, whatever it might be, that's what I'm all about.
Awesome. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know. I ranted there.
That's okay. You gave everybody the rundown.
Well, I'm old, so there's a lot to go over.
There's a lot more to go over than I have. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, especially with RTS. You know, obviously I'm pretty concentrated nowadays, gearing towards outdoor activity. But your philosophy is very similar. You know, finding a passion for training so that you can just go out and crush every other area of your life that's important, using training to enhance your life and kind of stay in the game.
Yeah.
All the way through, which is dope.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's picking up, you know, your kids are picking up grocery bags, right? Like the stronger you are, the easier that stuff is and the longer you can do it.
Absolutely. Love that. Adam, tell the listeners a little bit about how we got to know each other and kind of like what your initial general vibes were on our relationship, how that went.
Sure. What year was it? What year did you intern with me?
Fall of 2017. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So those were back in the days whenever I was still working football.
Yeah.
So I was the head athletic trainer for the football team at Dickinson College. And I would always get an intern from Messiah College, hence where Mike came in. He was highly recommended. So he came in as the bar was set high. I had a lot of expectations for Mike.
It was.
You know, I didn't know him real well, but I knew him through another former intern, Nate Nestor, who does currently work with me now. I didn't at the time. He was at Messiah. So yeah, the bar was set high. I remember Facebook stalking you. I think I just told you this not long ago too.
You did.
I remember Facebook stalking you, just to see like who this guy was. And you had a unique style. You had like some slick back hair, very clean shaved, a little bit smaller than you are now.
A lot smaller.
And just like, yeah, just kind of, scrawny. Coming from another scrawny guy, I can say that.
Fair.
Yeah, and then so you came on. I guess my first time I met you was at what was it, the Resilient?
Well,
what was that called?
Physical Prep Summit. We had met in the spring, actually.
Oh, okay.
And you basically told me to like figure out, like, get my act together, get an internship somewhere, and I did. And then we met, at the Physical Prep Summit.
Oh, nice. I don't remember telling you to get your act together. That definitely sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, sure.
And it also sounds like, whenever I have those meetings, Messiah being a very Christian school, I usually preface it as I am going to swear a lot.
Yeah.
If that bothers you, just let me know and I'll try not to swear as much.
Yeah, I got that disclaimer too, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People say I'm scary. And I guess I can understand that. But
yeah.
If you add the permanent kind of pouty face bear that I am, and then a lot of cursing on top of that, I could definitely be intimidating.
Sure.
But when you start to unwrap me and get to know me, I'm not as much of a bear as everybody thinks I am.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we met. I mean, you crushed it. Like, you crushed your whole internship.
Thank you. I'm really just fishing for compliments with this question.
I know. I mean, but you did. And there was things in the works where I was hoping to open a business. I was ready to hand that over to you and run the day to day. Like, that obviously didn't come to fruition, but I was ready to do it. Like I said, you wowed me. Definitely top. I'll say top 2, since Nate's probably going to listen to this. So we'll put him in there with top two interns.
He knows though. He knows. Well, thank you for the compliments. To my listeners, there you go. If you needed convincing, you've been convinced, I hope. Adam, describe yourself in 3 to 5 adjectives.
Ooh. Grumpy, old, athletic. Do those 3 things go together?
Yeah. All right. Well, so here's how I put this together. I think a lot of what makes that mesh is the color of your beard.
I know, dude. It's popping right now too.
It really is
with the sunlight. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty. Most of the chin is white right now. So Adam looks a lot older than he is, and for that reason, I mean, he's still for where he's at in life, he like absolutely crushes training, but he also looks, from his hair, like he's maybe older than he is. So he looks like he crushes training extra hard.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But that
sells,
fits,
right?
Yeah, that fits. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with those things.
No, I know the beard is unreal. How white it got so quick too. I was looking at pictures not long ago, just kind of scrolling through my phone, and I saw a picture. I want to say maybe 2015, 16. I mean, I wasn't this gray when you were there, right?
No.
But yeah, I was completely dark brown, and then all of a sudden, like overnight.
Yeah, your winter beard was pretty brown.
Yeah, definitely. Oh well, I like it. My wife likes it.
Good. That's what matters. Yeah. If it matches the flannel today too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it makes you look rugged,
dude. Flannel season.
That's the Grizzly vibe.
I know. I was gonna say. I know.
For everyone who doesn't have eyes on this, because no one does.
Yeah.
We're both wearing flannels, so there we go. Hey, we're gonna get into a couple more in-depth questions, and then we'll have fun. This one is unexpected. I didn't put it on your question list. Okay. Give me kind of a rough rundown, because you may not have this. What's kind of your life's goal right now?
Man,
that's a really
deep question.
Knowing you, that's on the spot.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a deep question, and I think I would love to know the answer.
Yeah.
It's something that I have been thinking about a lot lately, but I don't think I've come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
For the longest time there, my goal was to open a facility and train people and athletes specifically. I still have a passion to do that, I hate the business side of it, Mike. Like I hate marketing. I hate, just the day. Like I'm a technician. Like I love training. I love all the physiology. I love solving the problems of how to get you from point A to point B, how to increase performance, how to maximize oxygen consumption, like all that nerdy stuff. Like I love it. And I like to think I'm pretty good at it, but just because you're good at it doesn't mean that clients are going to buy a product from you. So, I love that. And that's a life goal, I guess, or I don't know if it's still a life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Got any thoughts?
That's fair.
Give me
no, I don't have thoughts on what your life goal should be. I do have thoughts on that response though. I think it's a very mature response. I think most people that get that scramble to find one because they feel pressure to have one. Whether it's from social media or from all over the place, right? I'm kind of in the same boat. I sort of maybe have an idea, but it's changed a lot over the last 2 years. And I think if you can settle on that and kind of be comfortable, but still have some concrete steps in front of you of where you want your life to go, then
I think that's actually very mature, right? To be okay not to have a life goal, and to, because I think having a life goal is I think goals are important, right? We talk about setting goals and trying to work towards achieving those goals, right? So I do think they're important, but at the same time, if you're always focused on the future, then you're not living in the now, and you're not really truly there in day-to-day life. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is trying to figure out what my life goal is and what my purpose is. I think that's probably the key word, right? What is my purpose? Where can I have the most impact in this world? And I don't think I've found it yet. I love working at Dickinson. I love working with Division III athletes, because they are passionate, but they're Division III, right? They're not elite athletes. I'm not really changing, I'm not having a huge impact on the world there, right? So that I'm searching for that, but I'm, like you said before, I'm also really trying to do better at being being grateful for what I have, and the day to day luxuries that I do have. I have a great life. I have a great job. I have a great family. So just trying to be grounded and be grateful what I do have, but also trying to figure out my purpose.
Yeah. Well, and even that, even if you don't have as huge of an impact kind of performance athletically as you would like to down the road, with the level of athletes that you work with, I mean, you definitely still have a huge impact on the people's lives that you work with. People like coming in to see you. Yeah, for sure.
Even though I'm a grumpy bear.
There's a couple that don't. Let's be honest. But
I mean, be honest. Is there more that do enjoy coming to see me, or more that don't enjoy coming to see me?
I don't know.
I just put you on the spot there, huh?
You did. I think more people enjoy coming to see you. I think some people enjoy coming to see you, but act as if they don't. But I think it's like a comfort thing where it's like, well, Adam's real with me, even though it doesn't make me happy. Adam's real with me. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. And something I do really miss, and I'm not sure how to get back to it, because I don't work football really anymore, but is having interns like you, right? Like that was a big piece of my life for a long time, is training athletic trainers basically, right? And kind of getting y'all outside of your comfort zone and outside of the evidence-based world, and you the real life experience of Dickinson College. So that was something I really enjoyed, and haven't had the opportunity to do as much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who came to you, and, still people who come to Nate for sure.
For sure.
Are not in for a traditional internship experience. No way. And I think that sets them up for success for sure. Unexpected question number 2. Tell me something unique about yourself. Or if you just think that you're super basic and generic, then you can give me that.
Something unique about me. So that's funny. That was a similar question that Alex asked for one of our social media posts that he's putting together. And I am super basic. What is something unique about me? Man. Man, nothing comes
All
to
right.
mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, maybe we'll uncover that at some
Yeah,
point in the
I was gonna
next
say
hour or so.
if something comes to me throughout, I'll just throw it in there real
Pop
quick.
in. Yeah. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
I didn't give you time to prep either.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I want that one to be
for
off the
sure.
top of the head.
For sure. Yeah, no. Country boy. Love Central PA because I haven't left there ever. Went to college here, got a job here, grew up here.
You're hip for a country kid.
Yeah,
you're cool. Yeah, you're modern for a kid who grew up in backwoods honky tonk PA.
Man, seriously.
The Alabama of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsyltucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Loved it though. Beautiful, beautiful place to grow up.
Sure.
Love my experiences there, but it's not the whole world. So I think outside of that, and learning and meeting new people is really valuable. Opens your perspective up for sure.
Yeah, agree. Favorite artist? I think I have an idea.
What? You said artist. Is that musician?
Yeah.
Like music? Or okay.
Oh, painter.
I didn't know if like you want
favorite painter.
Yeah, like Picasso. Like I'm gonna have to say Kid Rock. I'm a country boy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Who did you think I was gonna say?
Well, I thought maybe Jack Johnson.
Oh,
but I would have put that in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, top. So I always say I like white trash people. So Eminem and Kid Rock are my white trash kind of guilty pleasures that I do tell people because I'm not ashamed of it, but really I am ashamed of it when I say it. But I say
that's why you lead with that.
Exactly. But Jack Johnson's up there for sure too. Yeah. I listen to a lot of eclectic different music. So
sure.
A double adjective there.
That's what everyone says.
Eclectic different. Yeah.
Oh, I have really wide music preferences. You wouldn't know.
Right.
Everybody says that. That's okay.
I mean, I'm not the guy, and we've talked about this too off air and other times, but like I don't memorize. Like I said, if it's not health and fitness related, I don't really know it.
Right.
I'm aware of it, but I won't be able to like rattle off artists and song titles and years that they were released and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy just pretty much any type of music other than like hip hop country. So like today's country, like who Taylor Swift. I guess she's not even country anymore, but like
she's
that
not.
Kind of stuff.
She's on genre number 3 so far.
Give me some 90s country. So like Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks and Dunn. Like I'll listen to that all day. Real old, like David Allan Coe, Charlie Daniels, Hank, anybody like
Absolutely.
that. Absolutely. And then you got Kid Rock, you got Eminem, you got that kind of like hip hop, rap, but rock mixed together.
It's like hard hitting early hip hop.
Yeah.
That whole genre, for sure.
It's a good time.
Hey, I feel like we covered this, but go into a little bit of depth. Give me a brief rundown of kind of your expertise, your niche knowledge, rabbit holes that you've followed the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I mean anything health and fitness, I feel pretty confident that I can have a pretty in-depth educational conversation. But I would say my niche, however you want to say it, biomechanics, data analysis. So how where your bones should be at, what muscles should be working, proper just biomechanics in general for lifting, running, walking, sports, and using that methodology to get people out of pain is probably my biggest bucket that I fill, especially in my everyday job. And then anything strength conditioning. I love bioenergetics. I love energy systems and reading and understanding what creates fatigue and how we can combat fatigue, and anything brain related, because fatigue is also brain related, and it's just everything comes back to the brain as well. So love all that stuff. I wouldn't say it's my niche, but definitely getting more more knowledge about how the brain works, how our psychology works, how we get buy-in, how we convince people to do things and motivate them to do things is you don't realize it. So like I remember I'm big into ACLs too. So like ACL rehab is probably what has pushed me to learn most of what I've needed to learn about. Like
Yeah.
I would do ACL rehab for the first like 6 weeks, and then you realize, okay, well, I need to progress them away from straight leg raises. So like, okay, I got to dive into strength conditioning. How can I get this guy strong? And then you realize that, well, they need to be able to do that repetitively and not just 1 or 2 times. So, okay, let's dive into energy system development. Let's get this guy fit. Or how can I get him fit while he's, not able to weight bear and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
So ACLs have really been my arch nemesis, and what has driven me to learn a lot of what I've learned about. And I guess to bring it back to what I was going to say about the brain was, there's a huge psychological factor to ACLs, right? Like I always used to boohoo on the psych aspect, and it's like, just suck it up, mental toughness. Like, you either got it or you don't.
Right.
And then you realize you get out in the real world, and it's more complicated than that. And things that you do and say as a therapist or as a coach definitely influence the thought process of the athlete, and you have to be careful of what you say and how you say it, and try to help guide that athlete back to activity, not only physically but also mentally.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's this whole concept of like mental toughness. You sort of like hate that term because you really make somebody mentally more tough, but you've got to be able to give them the strategies to kind of visualize and seek out the process, the reward, continue like putting in the work day to day and staying positive about it. Otherwise, things kind of fall off the rails. So, right, whether or not they're mentally tough and they can just put their head down and do it, the clinician or the trainer or the coach is really there to help guide athletes through doing stuff that they otherwise would not want to do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, because I mean, nobody really wants to be in there doing rehab. I mean, some people might, but
sure,
that is your job to motivate them to come and do it, and make sure they're getting some type of training effect or some type of positive outcome from it. But yeah, the mental toughness thing is a big kind of black hole for me. It's like, obviously there's some people that are just mentally tough. Like, what is it, Goggins, whatever his name is? What's his? Oh my goodness! Like, nobody's that. Like, he's an absolute savage and just can, mentally mind F whatever he wants and do whatever he wants. And I don't think there's anybody else out there like that, but I do think there's got to be a level of being able to become more mentally tough. I don't know if the strategies that most people institute with athletes is really what's going to get you there. I think it's a little bit deeper. I think it's a little bit more on an individual basis and getting to know yourself and what makes you tick, and it's a little bit more gooey than people want to think, than just like, oh, let's throw a log on our shoulders and or run sprints until we die. Like, that's there might be a time and a place for some of that, but that's probably not what's really going to help long term.
You got to tap into something deeper that gets people going. You can't just say, oh, well, we've been doing this all season, so you better be used to running until you puke by now.
Right.
It doesn't work.
No,
for sure. I mean, that's the term that's out there now, I think, that encompasses that is biopsychosocial.
Yep.
Basically, taking the biomechanics piece and everything that the fitness community has come together and kind of refined for so long, and then adding in kind of that psych piece, and taking into account circumstances that are impacting the athlete, and you put it all together and you've got hopefully an exponentially more successful process.
Do you think that term has made its way into strength conditioning yet?
Oh, it depends on, I don't know about collegiate and like basically like scholastic strength and conditioning, but it certainly has in the private sector.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's made its way in with regards to people who are more like-minded to us, probably. And see the organism as a whole and not just as individual parts or systems. But it's funny you said that word. Obviously I've been aware of it for a while, but I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the guys, I forget who it was even with. That's awful. I just listened to it this morning, but wasn't that impactful, obviously. But he did say, the question was, what do you think is like the biggest thing in sports medicine that's up and coming that you think is like really going to be impactful? And he said the biopsychosocial model, which is obviously not that new, but like, I totally agree that, putting that all together and like we said before, like building mental toughness isn't just about like working hard and trying to grind through it. It's about getting to know yourself and getting to know the person. So the psyche, and like you said, being able to put that together with the biology, and everything else that makes up the organism to really truly get the best outcome for that patient.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's move on from being nerdy for a bit.
Okay. Sorry. That's all.
No. Don't say sorry. That's what we're just here for everything. We're here for everything. Did you have more that you wanted to explore?
No.
Okay.
I'm ready for questions, man. I
don't apologize.
Everything comes back to nerdiness with me.
I know. You know. Well, no. Not if you get prompted with the right question.
True.
I asked you to go that direction.
Okay, good.
Don't apologize. You're my highly regarded guest. You get to say whatever you want to say.
All right.
Name the coolest place that you have been.
Ooh. I've been to some cool places.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to rank. I would say, like, if I had to say, like, okay, like, this is the coolest place I've probably ever been was probably Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Went there snowboarding because I just like the mountains were just unreal. Like it's literally like the middle of nowhere. You fly into this tiny ass little airport. You know, it's just mountains and snow everywhere. So that's probably the coolest place I've ever been, just because that's what I love. Also had an opportunity to go to France and Europe there with the soccer team. So that was really cool because I've never been out of the country. So that was kind of cool as well. And then I would say the coolest experience I've ever had was in Utah last year snowboarding. And the only reason it made it the most epic was because we got a huge snowstorm the last day I was there, and just that was the most powder I've ever rode. And it was everything I had built it up to be. I've had some good powder days, but nothing like that. It was just I'm going to tell the story because it's fun. So we were there for, I think, 5 days. It was like the last day of the trip. My son, Mason, who was 8 at the time, went with us. I took him out on like Wednesday. It was a bluebird day, perfect day. He got a bunch of runs in, crushed it. And then he took the day off the next day, and then he was going to go back out with me the last day. We get there. It snowed overnight. But like the weather reports literally said like an inch or two, right? And no big deal. So we get there, it's snowing the whole time. So it snowed overnight, it's still snowing. We get on the lift, we get up to the top, and as we're going up, I'm just like, man, that snow looks really deep. Like that looks really, really deep. Like this is gonna be great. So we get up there and we're going down greens because like that's all he knows how to do. He's good, but he's not that good yet. He's just learning. So we get there, and it was probably by the time we got to the top of the mountain, there was probably a solid foot of snow already. And the snow was just too thick for him to go through. So he didn't weigh enough. So he couldn't go. Like he wanted to, he tried, but it was just too thick. And the green circles don't have a lot of elevation. So like you don't have that gravity to push you as much. Yeah. So I ended up throwing him on my back, like piggyback, and riding down the mountain in a foot of snow. It was an epic story. We talk about it all the time. We're gonna, when he's like 30, we're gonna be sitting around at Christmas and telling that story. It was legendary. But yeah, that was probably the coolest experience I've ever had. Again, Jackson Hole is probably the coolest spot I've ever been. Totally want to go back there. Want to go back in the summer. Would love to do some fly fishing there. And just, I mean, honestly, I would live there, but
sure,
it was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. The West, man.
The West. I know. I'm itching for the West.
Me too, man.
I've never been further than South Dakota, which South Dakota was dope. But
I bet, yeah. I've heard good things about Dakotas. I've never been
there. I want to spend time out there. Yeah. We camped in the Badlands.
Oh, see, that's sick.
Yeah, we did Custer State Park, which is so dope.
Is it?
It's like, I forget what the peak is called, but it's the highest peak between the Rockies and I think it's the Pyrenees in Spain. It's like the highest point between those two. So it was way up there. And then we did, I think it's called Needles Highway and like Sylvan Lake, which is the one that they show in National Treasure 2. All in like a span of like 2 days. And it was super dope. Yeah. It was awesome.
Did everything.
Yeah. So, but that's as far out as I've been. And I want to spend a considerable portion of my life that way because
I know. Me too,
it's so cool. It's so cool.
It is.
I was driving on 81 this morning and I like looked out and I saw our mountains. And I was like, to be honest, like it's pretty cool, like to
Yeah.
be able to live here compared to where
Yeah.
I grew up. Like I grew up on the lake, but
Sure.
to live somewhere that you can hike a mountain on any random day.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to going out that way. So
No,
yeah,
no. I mean, even north, like Vermont, like
yeah,
even New York, like the mountains get a
yeah.
little bit bigger.
New York is pretty sweet.
Yeah, but they're they're mountains.
Yeah,
They're considered mountains here.
yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, name somewhere cool that you want to go.
Big Sky, Montana. It's on my
Mm-hmm.
bucket list right now. I've been scoping out their trail cams and mountain conditions. So
Sweet.
if they get dumped on, I might pull the trig and head out. We'll see. But yeah,
Dope.
I've never been to Montana. Montana, I mean, Big Sky just sounds
right.
dope, right?
It does sound awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to go there. Also, Arizona sounds really cool. My wife was there.
Sure.
Not necessarily for the snow, but I think it's cool because it's desert, but also mountains. So like desert mountains.
Yeah.
So like I think hiking that and exploring those regions would be really cool.
Yeah, and some of the the canyon regions of like Utah and stuff in Arizona. I mean, that stuff looks absolutely dope. Not much snowboarding to be done in the canyon, but
no, but still cool to explore.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I would totally be into like rock climbing and some rappelling and stuff like that. Not something that I know a lot about, but definitely would do it.
Yeah, I'm all about rocks. I love rocks, climbing around on rocks. It's a good time.
Yep,
absolutely. Hey, let's go into depth on some of your snowboarding pursuits. So specifically, I've been in there, Adam and I have trained together for a couple years on and off. And towards kind of like October, November, December, Adam starts running conditioning programs to get himself ready for his trips out west. So talk a little bit about how you kind of prepare for your trips. And then, you can go into depth on, tell some cool stories about your trips and just kind of what's the best parts.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'll start it again. I grew up skiing on the East Coast. So in Pennsylvania, I don't know if we can even call these mountains. I call them hills. So that's what I was used to. But you're skiing on ice most of the time, so your technical ability gets pretty good because you're literally snowboarding or skiing on ice. Went up to Vermont a few times as I got into college, and realized those mountains were a little bit bigger, so a little bit more fun. But I had never been out west. Finally got to a place in my life where I could afford to go out and spend some time out there over winter vacation. And so the first big mountain that I snowboarded was in Aspen. So we went to Aspen, Colorado. My wife, we went with another couple. My wife and the other female from the group picked where we went because they thought that they were going to see celebrities in Aspen, so that they picked that, and I was like, whatever, as long as it's in the Rockies and I get to ski in Colorado, like I'm there, whatever. So they planned it all. But yeah, so what we did, so we were only there for 3 days that time. So we travel day, 3 days of skiing, and then another travel day. So 5 days total. On day one, we went all out. We were first lift to last lift, like just, we got to get your money's worth. I've never been out there. It was epic. Woke up day two. I was definitely sore. I was tired, but I was like, I can gun through this. No big deal. So we had a pretty good day of day two. By the end of day two, like my legs were getting tired. Like turns were really hard. Like I was starting to catch edges. Like it was a little sketch. And then day three, we went to a new mountain, and our legs were so tired that like it was impossible to make turns without falling on my legs were just shot. So that last day of skiing was like, we couldn't go in the trees. We couldn't do anything that we really enjoyed doing because our legs were just so shot that it was like, if you do anything other than like cruise some blues and greens, like you were going to eat it and hurt yourself. So was disappointed in my fitness, right? Like, cause I worked out a lot, but I didn't train specifically for that trip. Like we just went. So once I realized that, the next time we went out, like again, like we were going for like 3-4 days of skiing. I wanted to be able to ride consecutive days without having that recovery factor being a limiting factor, right? I wanted to be able to ride hard 4 days in a row. So I started kind of tinkering around with some conditioning methods. A lot of them come from Joel Jamieson's book, Ultimate MMA Fighting. I think that's a great book. So if you haven't read it, definitely pick it up. It's an easy read. It's like, pretty quick. But anyway, so the big things that I found that were limiting, one, we like to hike a little bit, right? So if you want to get to the good stuff, a lot of times you got to hike a little bit. And the other thing with hiking is I tend to not really, I just get riding, and a lot of times I'll end up in places where I shouldn't be, and then I have to hike
Right.
out back to the
Yeah.
trail. And that, hiking in waist deep snow is really, really tiring.
Absolutely.
And it's a little anxious at the same time, because you feel stuck, and it's like, holy shit, like it's going to take me, 45 minutes to get back out to the trail.
Yeah.
And so that was a fitness piece that I wanted to be able to do. So I wanted to be able to hike. And then the other thing with like the bigger mountains, again, around here, like if I go to Ski Round Top, which is the local mountain here in near Harrisburg,
Mhm.
they, from top to bottom, even if I'm just cruising, it's going to take maybe a minute at the most.
Right.
Like I can get up and
Yeah.
down. Those mountains, like out there, like those were like 15-minute rides, like from
Right.
top to bottom. Right. So like, I gotta be able to sustain that without a break. So just being able to do that. And then the ability to recover in between, right? So to be able to tolerate that stress and then be able to do it again the next time, day after day after day. So I started some conditioning stuff. So for the hiking, some methods that I really like to use are high intensity continuous training.
Mhm.
So that's where you load up some weight. I usually throw some weight in a backpack. If you have a weight vest, that's great too. And then just doing step up. So it's literally mimicking the hiking movement. You get some extra load on there. You do a explosive step up once every 3 to 5 seconds. Keep your heart rate around 160. So you're right around the anaerobic threshold level. And you're really basically conditioning those those type 2 fibers, those explosive fibers, to be a little bit more fit, right? And be able to sustain that. So I really like that method. I usually use that twice a week during my prep. And I build up from, I think I usually start with 2 sets of 10 minutes, and we build up to 2 sets of 15 minutes, and sometimes a little bit longer. And then the other two big pieces are just that lactic, right? So when you're riding, you're basically in an isometric squat position for an extended period of time, and then add some powerful plyometric jumping in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other two big techniques that I like to use to mimic that are explosive repeats. So that's where we do like a loaded goblet squat jump. So I usually use like 20-30 pounds, and then we start with more aerobic based or alactic based jumps. So anywhere from 10 to 12 seconds long with 30 to 45 seconds off. And then
Mhm.
I progress that throughout like a 5 to 6 week block where we go into more lactic based. So that goes from like 10 to 12 seconds up
Yeah.
to 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And we're doing, a couple rounds of 8 to 12 reps there. And I find that method really mimics the leg burn, and you get that power, you get that jumping. Now you're not getting a lot of the side to side and some of the other, people love the multi-directional and multi-planar movements. I'm
Yeah.
more of a sagittal plane guy, and then like your actual riding is what's going to make
Absolutely.
up the difference for the rest of that. So you could probably get a little bit tricky with like doing jumps like side to side and front to back and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
really mess around with it. I think you could. It might not be a bad idea, but and then the
Yeah.
last method that I love to use is the static dynamic method. Again, it's out of Joel Jamieson's book. So I've not found anything that mimics the leg burn of snowboarding like that does.
Yeah.
So yeah, just load up a bar. I honestly, I don't even usually load it up. I usually do a safety
Yep.
bar, just the bar. And you do 2 reps. So up all the way, full range of motion, 2 reps. And then you pause for 10 seconds in the middle. And then you repeat that. And again, I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I should have looked at it, but I usually start around 1 minute to 2 minutes. And then we do 1 or 2 sets of that as kind of like a finisher for the day. And now I'm obviously doing my traditional strength conditioning on top of that. So a lot of my strength and hypertrophy work is in a maintenance volume, right?
Yep.
So we back off of
Yep.
that, but I don't want to get weak, and I don't want to
Yeah.
wither away. And so that all kind of goes on maintenance volume, and then we ramp up the conditioning methods, which I just explained, and then just some basic aerobic stuff, right? So you got some tempos and some aerobic capacity, cardiac output stuff to maintain those qualities. And
Yeah.
I've found that the first time I used the program, it worked. I tweaked it a little bit for the next time, and then this most recent time out when I went to Utah, I skied every day, and I mean I skied hard, and my
Yeah.
legs felt great the whole
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it works.
Sweet.
Yeah, and my buddy that goes with me uses it as well. Now we have to change his volume a little bit because he skis a lot. He has a season pass to Blue Mountain, which is a pretty nice mountain up in the Poconos. So he skis a lot too. So we supplement some of his aerobic work for skiing and kind of tinker with the volumes a little bit. But I just don't love skiing and snowboarding around Pennsylvania. So I train my ass off and then I go out there and have
and crush it. It's awesome. Now, some of those methods are pretty miserable.
Yes.
I know you have a specific way of motivating yourself in the weight room. Do you know what I'm getting at?
I don't.
So I walk in there getting ready to plug in my metal, and Adam will be set up facing the television with just like collage videos of snowboarding on sick mountains in front of him.
So the high intensity continuous training is when I usually use that. Because it's boring. You literally you don't want to step up once every 3 to 5 seconds. And I do it like 30 minutes in a row. Right. Yeah. So it gets to be a lot. And, so I just zone in on the mountain, and the guys riding and just kind of keep telling myself, hey, like, this is going to help. Like, you're going to be able to hike to the top of that mountain. You're going to be able to, whatever it is, and just going to increase my performance and allow me to have a better time while I'm out there. So I thought that's what you're getting to, but I was like, oh, man, what's he talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you do that. I mean, it's the perfect way to motivate yourself, right?
Dude, it just, you zone out, right? Like, so you get all the physiological benefits, but you're just like, the psyche is just in a different spot. So you can just grind through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love it. I didn't do it this year because I'm not sure if I'm going to go on a trip. And if I do go on a trip, I'm probably going to regret it because like I'm going to be feeling it hard and mad at myself.
Yeah. Just start with something, right?
If I without an end goal, right? Like without a date, it's like, okay, well, when do I start?
How long
when
do I finish?
This? Yeah,
for sure.
And I was on some other programs that I was enjoying. So
for sure. Yeah.
And put a lot of work into gaining some weight there for a little bit. And I always lose weight on that program, obviously. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I wasn't really ready to do that this year.
I mean, it's a great
lose weight in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great testament to, being able to kind of prepare yourself physically for the outdoors and for adventure and to enhance your experience.
Exactly.
You don't want to get to day 3 and be like, okay, well, I guess we can't, hit the slopes today. Like that stinks. I mean, that's fantastic. Obviously there's kids out there who snowboard year round. Right. And they've never hit a weight room in their life and it doesn't matter. But for most people who take, 5-day, 8-day, 10-day trips, it's important to be prepared for that, because you want to get the best out of it that you can. So, it's huge.
Especially, I think you nailed it, right? Like, I think, there's kids out there that don't train and just snowboard. And I think even some professional athletes in their younger days don't take the training piece very seriously.
Yeah.
But if you want to have longevity in any sport, be it snowboarding, soccer, football, your training and nutrition and taking care of yourself is really gonna impact how long you can do what you really enjoy to do.
Yeah.
So for any snowboarders out there looking for a training plan, Grizzly Performance.
There you go.
Hook you up.
Boom. You're not wrong.
Exactly.
You're not wrong. Thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Little shout out. That's what we're here for.
I'm just here for, isn't it?
I mean, I'm just here for the exposure and the compliments.
Well, right. I'm just trying to do my part.
Thank you. It's a good friend. Hey, moving on. What's your alcoholic drink of choice?
White Russian, obviously.
Okay,
so I'll do this. Winter time is a White Russian. Mm-hmm. Summertime is probably a vodka lemonade or that's probably it.
Yeah. I didn't attach this question to the bottom of it because I forgot. But my last guess, so it's only fair, I asked, what do you think this says about you as a person?
What, the alcohol?
Yeah, what your drink of choice is.
Man, yeah. So the White Russian, I'm obviously a huge Big Lebowski fan. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
There you go.
And the vodka lemonade says like a whole nother story. Like,
it does. It totally does.
Do you? Well, I was just gonna say some sexist stuff there. That's not a good. I'm gonna stop there. I was gonna make fun of myself, but then I was like, you know what? That's extremely sexist.
To clarify, Adam is a very sensitive person. So it's good of you to stop yourself.
It's
easy to just go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sally comments, wearing a skirt, all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, that is not sensitive of me, and that's not who I am, Mike.
Yeah.
I drink vodka lemonade.
You drink vodka lemonade because you like it.
I do,
and that's good enough.
It's refreshing.
I think here's what I'm getting at when I ask that question. I think it says that you are ready to have a good time and be laid back and chill. You're not here to impress anybody with your craft beers at the pool, right?
Those guys, yeah.
Yeah. You're just here to have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
I'm cool with who I am, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I prefer flavor over, well, IPAs used to be good too. Now they just make me sneeze, so we won't.
That's one of the, no, we don't have to. That's one of the randomest things though. IPAs make me sneeze. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Name an exercise you suck at and make an excuse as to why you suck at it.
Bench press, and I have longer arms than anybody in the history of people.
I'm pretty sure I have longer arms than you do.
Yeah, but you got a bigger chest, so that shortens the range of motion.
Well, if you build your chest, then you'd be fine.
True.
I'm messing with you. You do have long arms.
I do have really long arms, like ridiculously long arms, and legs, and my torso's short, so it's I look like I have Marfan's. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not secluding, but that is I've had that comment before.
Have you really?
Like more jokingly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not to like zone in on that, but that, yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my excuse. I have long arms and benching. So I'm better at deadlifting because like the long arms kind of shortens the pool for me there, but benching it's not, the leverages aren't there.
Sure. I would argue also that you hit lower body on your high-low days. I mean, you hit a high intensity or a heavy lower body lift twice a week, and then you basically do a heavy press once a week. I mean, that's right. Yeah. So you spend a lot more time developing the lower body
for sure,
as you should for your purposes. Absolutely.
Well, and I will say that I get cranky shoulders. I'm a hyper mobile kind of guy. So I used to be more than I am now, but So if I bench more than once a week, things start to get cranky.
Yeah, for sure. Have you played around with like doing one normal bench day and then one modified, like a floor press or a close grip or something like that?
No, that would be the route I'd have to go though. Absolutely. If I wanted to be like a power lifter, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
There's strategies there. I'm just making excuses.
Yeah. Well, I told you to, so fair. Name an exercise you're good at or one you're proud of your improvements on.
I mean, I'm not the strongest guy in the room. Like I've never trained to be like, that 1RM guy. Cause I'm just never going to be, that's not who I am. That's not my body style. But I think I have a respectable deadlift. I've hit, 405. Not that that's like groundbreaking, but I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
And then I have a kick-ass pistol squat.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I've seen that. I probably have.
Have you ever seen my stupid human trick?
No.
I can balance on top of a kettlebell and do a pistol squat.
Are you serious? Did you call that your stupid human trick? Yeah, that is a stupid human trick.
Functional. Like there's no trophies for.
I'm sure it gets the functional tag, but in no way is it actually functional. No. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a girl that I went to college with one time, a still photo of her in the bottom position of a pistol balancing on the kettlebell. I was like, that's kind of fucking cool. So, sorry, there goes the F word. That's the first one I was trying not to drop.
I don't care. I don't care.
Mike's mom, if you're listening, I apologize.
Yeah, I know she is too.
Anyway, I saw her balancing on the kettlebell and I was like, that's pretty cool. And I got to see if I can do that. And so I for like a month, I like messed around with it and then I finally got it. And now I can pretty much do it whenever I want.
It only took you a month?
Maybe not a month. I don't know.
I'm
just throwing out a number.
I believe you.
Anytime I get bored in the weight room now and kids aren't paying attention, I like do one and just make sure that they see me do it. And then I'm like, yeah, that's cool, isn't it? It's not cool.
That establishes authority though.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's my stupid human trick.
Adam is so good at exercise.
Exactly.
He can do a pistol squat on a kettlebell.
If I could do that, I'd be a better lacrosse player.
Yeah. Must be one of the best strength and conditioning coaches out there.
Yep.
I would say you're probably up there, but not for that reason.
Not for that reason.
Yeah. No, hey, your deadlift, absolutely. I mean, I haven't seen you since we met until recently. I haven't seen you deadlift with a straight bar. And yeah, you're crushing it. So
yeah,
I agree with that.
Sure. I do enjoy that movement. I have jacked up my back several times on it, but I always go back to it because I feel like as soon as you get scared of something, it's, not good.
Yeah. And that's why I'm good at deadlift, because I've messed it up so many times and I've been like, all right, I'm not being scared today.
Yep.
Yeah. Put the headphones in, bang my head, and just pull something stupid. Yeah. Hey, this is a fun one. Describe or create kind of like an image in your head. Can be from any time period, category, activity, anything that encompasses who/what you are. I'll give you an example. So mine would be like wearing my work boots, wearing a flannel, sitting on my porch with coffee in my hand, nighttime looking at hopefully mountains in my backyard, and a barn gym door open in the distance.
Dude, the barn gym.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's what I've got in my head. Absolutely.
Yeah. Repeat the question one more time. Give me the details.
Yeah. And you can take a second. Yeah. Take some awkward silence. So describe or create a scene, or you can imagine it as like a painting, any time period, category, activity that kind of encompasses who/what you are.
Yeah. So I would say, think of like, I don't know how to describe this, but like California-esque, right? So where you could be like, you could live at the beach and be surfing and enjoying the beach life, and then drive like 1-2 hours and you're on the top of a really big mountain.
Yeah.
That's my wife is more the beach person. I enjoy the beach. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but I'm more of a mountain guy. So for the two of us to be both happy, California or someplace like that where you can be at the beach or at a really nice mountain at the same time.
Kind of like this, you've got a split screen going on.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure.
Or think about like a wave rolling off of a mountain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a funky picture.
Right?
Like
some type of mashup of a
wave of snow.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It's cool.
That's what I'm about, man.
And so if you are at home thinking, I can't piece this guy together, I can't figure out what his deal is, that's a picture in your head. Whatever whatever vibe that picture gives you.
Yep. And then throw a flannel and a backwards hat on, and
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Snapback, backwards hat.
Snapback.
Specific.
Not like a fitted cap. That's not. I hate to say this because maybe my listeners will be offended. It's not a great look.
No, not a fitted hat guy.
Because like the fitted hat, especially backwards, it goes like, it's flat on the band, and then it kind of has this like flat spot where it pulls up towards the crown of your head. And it's just it's a weird look. Yeah.
The snapback's where it's at, man.
Absolutely.
Man, ever since that became popular again, I've been in my glory.
You've been crushing it. Yeah. Yeah. I've been going towards like the more boxy, what is it? The crown, the more boxy crown.
Yeah. I can't pull that off. I have a really small head. So then it really looks like it's like 6 feet off my head.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But yeah.
Especially
I like that look for some people. I can't pull it off.
Hopefully you like that look for me.
I do. I love the hair, by the way, too.
Thank you.
In the Instagram story with the completely.
Oh man, this was the best it's looked. This is the best it's looked. I agree. It's getting better as it gets longer. It sits tighter on the side of my head. Yeah,
and the lighting and the product. There's I'm not
sure
which one it was.
It was a product. It's sweating now, but it was a product. Oh well, I didn't. I just got home from the gym and housed some spaghetti and then sat down to do this. So,
nice. Oh, it's sweat now. I thought that was the name of the product.
No.
I
Oh,
was
no.
like, oh, that's literally what the product's called? Because it wouldn't surprise me.
No. So for anyone who I guess is interested in what I use, Pete and Pedro Putty.
Okay.
That's our sponsor for today. Last week it was
Perfect.
Welch's Fruit Snacks.
I remember that, yeah.
This week it's Pete and Pedro Putty.
Pedro.
Yeah, ever since the hair started getting longer, though, my head looks so much bigger that, you know, the size hat, it's the traditional trucker, like the mid-rise crown or whatever. It's so small on my head. I look like such an idiot. And I have like 20 of those hats that I used to wear when I, you know, had a skin fade on the side. Yeah. And now I just can't. So, yeah.
Bummer.
All right. Hey, let us all know elaborate on a large struggle that you faced, a big struggle that you faced that you're willing to share.
Ooh, yeah.
So this doesn't have to be like
struggle,
bare your heart,
wear
your emotions on your sleeve moment, but just something that I guess that people can relate to.
Sure.
Take your time.
Yeah, I mean, probably going back to maybe the beginning of the call, and just, you know, trying to find your purpose, and who you are, and it sounds weird to say that at 36, right? Like that, you know, and I feel like I did know who I was for a while, and I was good and happy, and not that I'm not happy now, but definitely throughout the pandemic, and I think most people can relate to this. My job has changed. So, you know, went from working with 18 to 22-year-olds on a daily basis in person, you know, doing what I love, being around sports and athletes and training and all that kind of good stuff, to not having any student athletes on campus, and mostly being on Zoom calls and committees and writing policies and stuff that I just, you know, the administrative stuff's not what I like to do. And so just trying to reinvent who I am and find a purpose in all of that. And you know, I feel like I've been somewhat successful, but definitely ready for athletes to come back and get back to my normalcy.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle to just find purpose in this whole pandemic era.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe that's pushed you for like a long-term change too, right? Where, I mean, not necessarily like a career change or anything like that, but it's gotten you kind of outside your comfort zone, obviously. You sort of had to be like, what am I going to do? Like, what else in my life do I want to pursue other than just this, right? Yep. Maybe it gives you a little bit of, you know, more direction or other things to pursue.
It does. But then, and then even as you, and now I'm just going to bitch, but, you know, with the pandemic, it's annoying, right? Like, like, okay, I can reinvent myself. And then you come up with all these great ideas that you want to do, but then you can't do them because you can't leave your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, like, okay, I can get passionate about that. Oh, well, that requires me to do X, Y, Z. And that, you know, you can't even go to a restaurant right now. Like,
sure.
Or, you know, like, I'm only good at training in rehab, and, you know, oh, okay, well, you know, maybe I can start training some high school kids. Well, you can't do that. Like, there's no gyms open. You can't, you know. So like all the ideas that I would like to do, like you just can't do them right now.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I guess what I've decided on is, you know, obviously not obviously, but we will hopefully have athletes back on campus. So I'm refocusing on that, and just I took a long break from learning rehab and training stuff. I was really into like the brain and psychology, and I still am, but getting back to more of my roots of biomechanics, respiration, energy system stuff. So that always helps ground me. And
is that my fault that I put you onto that?
Put me on the brain stuff.
The brain stuff.
I think it just makes so much sense.
It does.
I think, you know, you had a huge influence, and then just the PN material, and got into motivational interviewing and read that book, and just how much, again, we talked about already, but like how much our words matter, and how we can influence the psyche, which influences all the other systems, which is really powerful.
Absolutely. Rant about a pet peeve.
Pet peeve.
It can be anything, really, across the board. I mean, sports medicine, fitness, people that you hate to see on the mountain, whatever.
I mean, anybody that skis, they're lame, but no, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of friends that ski. But that's the only one about it. But no, I'll say, so since this is fresh on my mind, had a conversation with a dad, a friend of Mason's, and he's a great guy, and not trashing on him whatsoever, but just the concept of the nuances between working out and training and having a fitness goal and having a fitness adaptation that you're striving to get, compared to just working out where you just do random stuff. That's a huge pet peeve. And people just get people love novelty, and it's just like, that's not good training. Like, just because you do something like chaos, confusing the physiology, whatever, people want to call it, that like, that's not good training. Like, good solid training is consistency and doing the basics over and over and over again, and actually having a goal and a physiological adaptation that you are trying to drive a needle on, and specifically programming to accomplish that goal. That's training. Like, that's what we should be doing. And not to poo-poo on people that don't do that. If you're, honestly, if you're not into fitness, if you're not into outdoor activities like you're marketing towards, or physique goals of being the most jacked guy in the world, right? Like, if you just want to live longer and be healthy, dude, you could probably lift weights twice a week and go for a walk every day for 20-30 minutes, and that's enough fitness to have longevity. Now that doesn't, now that if your weight's maintained, right, like you can't be, and even so, I mean,
another conversation, but
another conversation. What is it? Health at every weight or whatever. Like, it is what it is. Like, yes, you can be metabolically flexible and healthy and be overweight, but it's hard. It's really hard. If you want to be able to crush carbs and eat tons of sugar, like, build more muscle and allow that to soak it up, man. But yeah, so that's probably what I get the most worked up about. Like, and back to that, so that conversation was like, oh man, like, he just, this guy that I work out with, we've been working out in his backyard, and he just kind of picks these exercises, and man, I feel smoked. And people just say that, if you're breathing heavy and you feel burn in a muscle, like, people think they got a good workout, and sure, it's, if that's the definition of a good workout for you, you did, but you didn't necessarily push the needle on a very specific adaptation. Like, is that going to make your muscles grow? Maybe, if you did the same, you made sure the same muscle burned every day. There's just so many variables that have to go into things, and you have to understand the nuances of the variables to truly push the needle in the right direction. And if you're just randomly doing stuff and it's not the same ever, and it's different every time, and you don't really track anything, you have no goals, then you're just working out, and that's lame to me.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, certainly if just being active and working out is what you really get pumped about, then whatever, do you. If something specific makes you, like, what Pat always says, if like training with, I guess I train with kettlebells sometimes, but like, if training with kettlebells makes you happy, then train with kettlebells, but don't pretend it's going to make you, Ronnie Coleman, like, or don't pretend it's going to make you LeBron James, like they do to other things. Here's what I take away from that. There are a lot less exercise non-responders than there are that people that say they're exercise non-responders. And the reason for that is most non-responders, in quotation marks, just aren't following progressive overload and a progressive training plan that's actually geared towards the response that they want to see. They're just doing random stuff and hoping it works. When you could do specific stuff and it would work. Yep.
Agreed. And I also think the Gen Pop, for beyond, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks, like, you'll get that initial response, right? Like, you'll get some muscle gain, but after that, I don't think most people understand the intensity they have to lift at.
Yeah, sure.
Continue to see gains, right? Like, it's got to be uncomfortable. Like, you have to go close to failure. You have to maximize motor unit recruitment. Yes, like, there's got to be a suck level, and it doesn't have to be like 10 out of 10, like you're going to complete failure, but you have to be close. And I don't think people, again, going back to mental toughness and all that conversation. I don't think people actually know how to go there. And I think that's a big benefit of training, is learning where that is and how to go there, and teaching yourself that it's okay to go there and you're not going to fall apart.
Yeah, definitely. Rant about something you think is awesome. Fitness, snowboarding.
Something that I think is awesome.
We haven't talked about hunting or fly fishing either. So if you want to hit on those things,
I do love fishing. I don't hunt as much anymore. I grew up hunting a lot. I haven't killed an animal. Well, I shot a rabbit in my backyard not long ago.
Oh, you better hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
She heard that already before.
Oh yeah,
we talked about it. She was upset. I think she blacked it out and like pretended like it didn't happen so that we didn't have to continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't actively hunted an animal since probably early college. I would like to get back into it, but yeah, I love fishing. Mason loves to fish. We go. I've tried learning some fly fishing. I'm still actively trying to learn, but we're mostly bait fishermen. We love to use spinners and worms and wax worms and all the old school stuff. Bought some kayaks this summer. Did a lot of fishing on a lake. Mason crushed some big smallmouth, largemouth bass. Like we had a really good summer. Caught a lot of fish. Love fishing. Love that he loves fishing. I love to see his face light up when he gets a bait and brings one in. And I mean that was some of the best moments this summer when he caught this huge bass. I mean, it had to be like 20 plus inches. It was a big bass. And just, I mean, he was like, this is, he literally said it was the best moment of his summer.
That's
he might
awesome.
Even said life. I don't remember. There's nothing better than that. And I cruise around and I fish, but like I mostly just guide him and hope that he does well. And when he does, it's rewarding for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Dope. Most important person / influence. Honestly, it doesn't have to be most important. Because like ranking those things is hard for people to do. Something important, an important person, an important influence.
Okay.
Whatever comes to mind.
I mean, I have to go with my wife. She is very motivational. Like she absolutely crushes her job. She's super good at it. She's super smart, super well read. And we've clicked. We dated in high school, separated for a little bit, and then got back together in college, and we've been together ever since. And something about our relationship works. And she definitely probably she brings more to the relationship than I do. That's financially, mentally, but she has always just been there to point me in the right direction. When I'm need somebody to talk to, she's always there. She is, like I said, just very motivating and has her shit together. So she helps me keep my stuff together. So
yeah,
for sure.
Everybody out there, get yourself somebody like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She takes care of me.
It's, man, I don't know. I don't have any authority to speak on the subject. But it's like long-term, that's the most important thing, I feel like, with your significant other. Is that they can like push you to be a better person.
Yep.
And that you feel like they bring more to the relationship. Not that they make you feel lame, but it's like,
No, not at all. No. And like life partner sounds silly sometimes, but yeah, we're married, but like I do truly feel like she's my partner in crime, right?
Yeah.
And hope to do so for the rest of our life. Mm-hmm. And however long that may be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. How nice. We're almost done, but what a great thing.
I know. And I didn't really even think I saw that question.
Yeah.
And nothing popped in my mind right away.
Yeah.
And then when you ask it, I forgot about it. And I was, that's a good question.
That's good.
I feel like a lot of people say their parents and that kind of stuff. And my dad passed away when I was a year old, so I never really knew him. And yeah, my mom was super influential, but like maybe not always in the best way. Sometimes, more in the, I don't know. We won't go there.
It's another can of worms.
That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely a good thought.
Yeah, the wife, we complement each other.
Yeah, I agree. If you can be If you could have the experiences of one animal for an entire day, like just the whole experience of being one animal.
Yeah. So it was easy for me. A shark, man. So think about
really?
it. If you're only going to be it for one day, like what is the one area of the world that you're never going to be able to experience again?
Okay.
It's the deeps of the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Like how cool that, and I want to be a shark. So that way, like I'm the top of the food chain. Like I don't want to be like some little fish that's going to get eaten. I want to be the top of the food chain, and I'm going to explore the shit out of the ocean, man. Like that would be cool.
That is that's a unique take on that question, but I like it. It's well thought out. I agree. How deep do sharks go?
I don't know. That's the only thing. I was like a little like I was going to do some research and find like an animal that could like go everywhere, but again, I just want to be at the top of the food chain. So,
but just generally, I mean, if there's an apex predator that can explore greater depths of the ocean than a shark, it would probably be that one. But shark is what you came up with.
But that's what came to my mind when I first
absolutely.
Saw it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
Thanks.
I still say a squirrel for myself. It's weird because I'm not like a squirrely guy.
What are you gonna do?
Dude, I just look out the window here and like the squirrels have just free reign of the world. Provided they don't get snatched up by a hawk, but it's like they're just jumping tree to tree. Like they move faster than monkeys. Like they're just all over running on roofs and just everywhere. I mean, it's pretty sweet. Yeah. And they're not in that much danger. I don't know. Just for
depends where you live.
Yeah, just for the exploration piece. I just like to explore. So yeah. I mean, if I could be like, big, it would obviously be like a grizzly bear, right? But I don't know. It catches people off.
I thought you had to be a grizzly bear.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess we're operating that like I already am, I guess.
Quite different experience with
it is a different experience. I'm so tough, but I want to be a squirrel for a day. Yeah. Both. They're tied. Hey, where can people find you?
I am on the gram. Adam D. Richmond. I think it's at Adam D. Richmond. Real unique. Facebook, same Adam Richmond. I do have a RTS, so Richmond Training Systems Facebook.
Yeah.
And email if you have questions, go RTS or go rtsystems@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not RTS systems because that would be redundant.
2 S's,
Go rtsystems@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, I appreciate you having me on, man. This was great.
I appreciate you coming on. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did too. This was a good conversation. I always enjoy being on podcasts where it's more just chatting and,
Same. I enjoy listening to podcasts like that.
Exactly.
Right? Because hopefully you get some information out of it, but it's like, all right. Like, am I really paying attention for a full hour? Like I turn this podcast on because I'm doing something else, probably. Right.
Well, and what topic can you actually learn something about within an hour of a podcast?
That too. That too.
Just enough to spark your interest and go read something. Mm-hmm. Go read a book, dang it.
That's right. Go read a book.
Go read books.
Any book. Doesn't have to be a smart book. Just read a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
if you want to be good at categories, you got to read.
Oh, that's definitely true. I know. We're gonna have to play that again.
Very good at categories.
You're all right.
Better at categories than some other games, but
yeah. My wife beat me in that the other night.
Did she?
Yeah. So, all right, man.
Cool.
It's good to talk to you.
You too, man.